of my life. Please welcome Nicholas Davis.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. We've talked about many ways that a new year begins, whether it's a Jewish holiday or the actual calendar new year on the first of the year. For me, last Friday, September 10th, New Year of my life began, because that's my birthday. So, I'm going to tell you that for me, a birthday celebration isn't so much about the party or lots of gifts. Instead, I'm going to tell you about three things that mean more to me than those. The first thing, spending time with loved ones. My sister lives up in the suburbs of DC. Her husband, and their little pug have a 3-bedroom apartment, so they have an extra room I can come up and stay anytime I want to go visit them. I find it really convenient because even on a quick whim, it's not too hard just to hop in the car and drive a couple hours up there to visit. But this weekend, I was able to get the day off of work on Friday, make a 3-day weekend, and spend the whole weekend up there with them. My sister had to study for college courses part of the weekend, so I couldn't take up all of her time. So I took advantage of the mornings to sleep in and enjoy my birthday mornings. And then one of my buddies was up in DC for business meetings, so I spent Friday afternoon having tea with him and another friend of his at this interesting coffee shop called Baked and Wired. I thought the name was kind of funny, and it was a really neat little place. Baked for the bakery and wired because apparently you get pretty wired when you drink a lot of coffee. So the spending time with loved ones is important to me. So that's the first thing that I did on my birthday. The second thing is spending time in nature. If you look at the DC Beltway like a clock, around the 10 o'clock position is the border of Maryland and Virginia. And that border is created by the Potomac River. So if you go outward from the Beltway, it's all national parklands up there. On the Virginia side, you have the Great Falls National Park. And on the Maryland side is the Ohio-Chesapeake Canal Historic National Park, which is the preservation of the canal system that George Washington had installed to allow merchants to transit their ships up the Potomac River past the falls and the rapids of that area. So it was really interesting to see the locks that were built and the way they transited goods up and down the river. So we went there for hiking. So there we went to the Billy Goat Trail, which was aptly named because like the falls and the rapids would imply there's lots of rocks and rock climbing. So the trail follows right along the edge of the river, going up and down larger rocks, and there were a couple places where you're almost climbing rock faces. But it was a great exercise. Along the hike, we saw a whole bunch of lots of different birds I hadn't seen before. Something looked like a pelican, but didn't have a pelican beak. I'm not sure what it was, but it looked kind of neat. And there were a bunch of little small animals too. We even saw a family of deer off in the little pond, drinking water and feeding. So it was good to get right back to nature. The weather was somewhere around 70, low 70s. The sky was perfectly clear, and it was just a perfect day for hiking. It was just serene out there, so it was fun. So that's the second important thing for me on my birthday, is spending time with nature. The third important thing is to learn or experience something new. So we picked one of the sites in DC that we hadn't seen before, and we chose Mount Vernon, the home of George Washington. I don't know if any of you have been there before, but George Washington's estate is now owned by the Mount Vernon Ladies Association. It's a group of women that originally there was one from each of the 13 colonies, but now they're from all over the country. And I find it interesting to note that some historic landmarks are owned by private nonprofits and some are owned by the National Park Service. You can see the difference in upkeep and the difference of features and stuff like that. But his estate originally was thousands of acres. So he had his main house, and he had all this farmland surrounding it. And it's right along the Potomac River up on a big bluff. So he had over 10 miles of shoreline of his own on the Potomac when he lived there. Currently, there's his house. There's a couple of museums that have been built up around it. The little small buildings where his assistants and workers, and everybody worked and stayed. And they have a pier down the Potomac where they give rides along the waterfront and stuff like that. They have a demonstration gardens because he was a farmer. So they had gardens and demonstrated some of the things he grew and some animals. Another thing that not everybody knows about him is he was an inventor. Two nifty items that I found that he invented. One is the thing called a fan chair. So picture a chair with a fan blade sitting above your head and a pedal under each foot. So you pedal your 2 feet back and forth and the blade will swing with you. I thought it was pretty ingenious for back in that time. The other thing he invented is, since he had all these thousands of acres of wheat, is a way to thrash wheat. So he created a 16-sided building. Since they couldn't make round buildings out of wood, they made 16-sided buildings. So picture a somewhat round building, and the floor of the building is wood with slots all the way across it. So they cover the floor with the wheat from the field, and they walk the horses around in circles to trample the wheat. Well, underneath the floor is a big cavern where the grain can fall through. So it easily separates the grain from the straw. And they could just walk the horses around a few times, take the horses out of the way, and then clear all the straw out, throw some more straw, and keep doing that. And that's how they started thrashing grain back in the day. One of the more efficient ways anyway. So the third thing I like to do on my birthday is experience or learn new things. In summary, on my birthday, I chose to spend time with loved ones, be around nature, and learn something new. So I encourage everyone else, when it's your birthday, start the new year doing something meaningful to you.